think it is very important to see the city not anymore as a city with one center, but a city with multiple centers.
Okay.
And these multiple centers, they, you have them in very big scale and you have them in very large scale. I call that upscale and downscale.
Okay.
For instance, if you look upscale a city, the city is in its region, and it also is in its region with other cities, like for instance Rotterdam or Amsterdam is part of the Randstad, the Netherlands,
Okay.
which comprises something like 10 cities. And so you get a kind of system of centralities produced by those cities. But if you go on the scale of the city itself, you have a couple of centralities, like the airport, the central business district, the medieval town, the university campus, for instance. So you have also a couple of centralities. Well, I think Amsterdam is quite well solving this problem, because it has the beautiful old city, the Venice of the north. Then it has the waterfront, with different concentrations also. Then it has the so-called south axis, which is this new central business district on the south side of the city. And then you have the airport, for instance, which is not only an airport, but it's also a central place with an intercity railway station, shopping center, entertainment, an office center, hotels. So it's really a place. But Barcelona is very different because it's very compact, and Barcelona has the highest density almost in the whole world. I mean, the density of the Ensanche is higher than in New York or Tokyo, so, and higher than in Hong Kong. So it's very different than any other city in that sense.
Maybe easier.
And you can say that it is one big continuous center, a very lively center. And a very efficient center, because it's livable. At the same time, it comprises an enormous amount of people. It's very unique. If you compare figures to these other cities that I mentioned, if you compare to Amsterdam, I think Amsterdam has maybe 2,000 persons per square kilometer. Rotterdam maybe 1,500, Hamburg 2,500, and Barcelona 15,000. So it's an enormous difference, which makes the cities rather incomparable. You must always, with these urban theories, watch out that you do not generalize too much, because cities are very specific. But what you don't have is that the port and the airport, and maybe the area around the around the outside railway station, are developed as an urban place, and have maybe a little bit of lack of the right connectivity in that sense. And I think that's a place where you can work on. Now the port is always difficult, because as I said before, in Amsterdam and in Rotterdam and in Hamburg, the port is a large machine. And a port cannot be mixed use. It's almost impossible. You can have little enclaves where you have, for instance, cruise terminal with hotels and cafes and so, but you cannot create a port that is a part of the mixed use condition, because it's just big logistics. But an airport, because it's relatively compact, apart from the start, from the roll field, the airport itself, because it needs to be having a high connectivity, and because there's often a lot of business going on, and because in Europe airports are close to the city, they have the potential to become vital urban places. And this is also a potential healthy development, I think. Well, I think if you look at Amsterdam, the airport is one of the biggest employers. I think there are about 40,000 people 30 or 40,000 people working in the airport itself. And then you have the adjacent logistics firms, and then you have additionally, of course, the settlement of international firms in the vicinity. But agriculture is in many airports one of the important components of the landscape around it. Because the interesting thing about the noise and the emissions in airports which are in a big urban conurbation is that they push built substance away, and they create landscape.
Yes.
And so you see agriculture, golf courses, and so that's why often the paradox is that airports create ecological zones.